Hello, Sagittarius. This is your 2020 tarot reading. Welcome to all our Sagittarian friends, Sun, Moon, Rising, or if you're watching for a friend, very special friend. And Sagittarius, I hope you're all doing well out there. I've been shuffling your cards. I'm going to shuffle them up one more time. We're going to get them cut up, and we're going to see what the tarot has to present for us in this general reading for September 2020, the stylings of tarot. Thanks for joining me in this moment in space and time. As always, I wish everybody watching the best in peace, prosperity, love, joy, bliss, abundance, happiness, well-being. That was the Ace of Cups that flipped out of your deck, Sagittarius. So the gamble might have paid off, and only you will know what that means. Right? Sagittarius, you ever feel like it's like all eyes on me? You know, where's my Sagittarius at? You know, some people might have drawn very close to you over the last little while as well. Some people trying to discern, trying to decipher, try to figure out Scorpio. It feels like a Scorpio, but much like Sagittarius. Because, let's face it, this year has not been a normal year. And this year, you haven't been your typical Sagittarian you. And that's all part and parcel. That's fine. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Queen of Wands. So there you are in the overall energy. You're like, it's me. It doesn't matter and you're on the right track. You might have caused some people confusion in the near past, but it's going to be worth it. Like I said, the gamble is going to pay off. Staying true to yourself and knowing that you needed to make those changes, that took a lot of courage. And for you to stick by those changes now sometimes even requires more courage. It's like the people that say, quitting smoking is easy. It's staying quit. That's the hard part, right? So these recent changes that have come about and the recent shakeups in interpersonal relationships and stuff like that for you, Sagittarius, stand in your convictions. You know, it's easy to get a few miles down the road and then get, a little touch of regret or empathy from some place where you're like, oh my goodness, what have I done or what did they do? And we need to go back and fix this and make this right. But look deep inside. Look closely at what part of you is making that up versus, how much is actually of that is real. And it's funny because the emotion can become convoluted sometimes, especially if like in the cerebral, if we're not aware what is causing the emotion, or if we have like a preconceived notion that yes, it is this that's causing that emotion, when it may only be like a peripheral thing or like a side thing that's going on. It requires a deeper look. And the Queen of Wands is there. Like, you're protected, as always, Sagittarius. But it's interesting to see because, nobody's stepping in and taking Sagittarian's destiny, that which awaits them, away from them, okay? And this is what it is. It's the Seven of Wands. You took a stand. And that's fair. So keep standing, right? Was it Billy Joel? I'm still standing, right? Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. And that's okay, because you don't have to conform to their version of normalcy or their expectation of what they thought you would become or who you need to transform literally into, in terms of like some major changes that occurred for you this year, Sagittarius, in the way you deal with others and in the way that you carry with yourself now a lot more esteem and confidence and belief in you as being the driving force of that process, of that consciousness, which is you. So Seven of Wands, don't worry about it. If you still feel like short-fused, a little tempered, sometimes ready to like lash out, sting, all that kind of stuff, people need to be aware that these transitions they require people to have a lot of space, a lot of freedom to move. You can't do this all inside of a shoebox, or inside of the bedroom. It takes a world to explore. It takes the risks, and it takes the actual hunting down of the research of the opportunity itself. And that took time. And maybe some of the people around you couldn't understand that or couldn't quite grasp that. And it's okay, right? A lover from the past continuing to show up at your doorstep, or perhaps this is that nostalgic feeling that I felt for you. It might come up in the way of like when you're feeling like your desires, if you're looking back, if you're feeling like very, very sensitive to the physical, the textile world. When this comes about, certain smells or objects or feelings that are coming in are going to lead you to question a little bit about whether or not you did the right thing. And the Six of Cups here is saying, well, you know what? For as far as you've come, as far as it's gone, it needs to stay in the rearview mirror. It needs to maybe remain a memory, because it's so hard to get forward, if you're taking 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, that's backwards, right? If you're going 1 step forward, 2 steps back, that's always backwards. So, I can't here to tell you how to live your life or what to believe in, but what I do feel is that you're feeling a fair amount of pressure or even drama that's trying to pull you back in, trying to pull you into a past that you've recently taken a stand and broke free on. For some of you, it's something simple as mundane as habits. For others of you, that will be social circles. For others of you, it could be a little bit more complex and contemplative than that, right? Okay. Here's a Lover's card up here, right? So again, very well sought after. Sagittarius, you're not chasing anybody. You got people chasing you. You're not having to go out of your way to find and to have what you want in regards to love. Perhaps you're trying to refine for yourself a lot more because of what it is that you actually like, and knowing certain things that you now know for certain and for a fact that you don't like, that cause you to get your back up, that cause certain deal breakers. And that's okay. With this Lover's card here, it just shows that, the idea that somebody, is your soulmate and they're not with you, that is fine. That is completely there and just to be in your thoughts, in your dreams, in your feelings, when you're thinking and you're feeling, when you're laying down at night. If that thoughts of that person come rushing in or flooding in and you get filled up with emotion and nostalgia and things like that, it is okay to feel those things, even though you may not have an intention of being, or they may not have the intention of being that particular part of your future. It feels maybe sometimes like self-punishment or putting yourself through the ringer, and you fight against yourself entertaining the thoughts of, oh, it was so great when, me and Bobby McGee were together and doing this, that, and the other thing. It's okay to entertain that stuff. It's okay to hold those people and these soulmates and twin flames dear to our hearts, even though realistically we've taken that sort of that moral high ground to fairness to ourselves to say, you know what, it wasn't working, it couldn't work, it didn't work. And for some of you, it's a very direct thing that has occurred. All right, opening the door to destiny, because this is the reason you did it. The Wheel of Fortune is there saying like you recognized sort of the patterns that were starting to occur and reoccur in the situations that you didn't like. And it's almost like you had to go and you like wipe the whiteboard off, and like all of a sudden there's nothing there. It's a fresh slate. It's a brand new start. And the pattern of choice was out of a circle, right? It was all about getting rid of feeling blocked in or boxed in, and feeling like life needs to be about this grand voyage, this big circle of life, fitting into it while, not trying to fit square pegs through it if they weren't willing to go. And it is that way for you, Sagittarius. No matter what it is or who it is, I feel for now, for many of you, you've come to a point of realization that there's nothing can be forced. It can never feel like push and pull or binary, as it were. It's almost as like the person is in your life that will become a part of your adventure and even a lover in the larger portion of your life. This is somebody that you will never have to question whether or not they want to be there or that they are there for the reasons that they are there. There will just be like an unspoken knowingness with the card of destiny here up in your heart chakra energy. And again, it's not like you can get there any quicker or you have to fight for your way to get there, Sagittarius. This is more about living, flowing, allowing it to be. And then eventually, once you're vibrating a certain way that feels good with the self-love and with you coming through on the stand that you took for yourself to arrive at the beautiful presence that you are today, you'll start vibrating and resonating at a frequency where the people that do roll, that do flow the way you flow, Sagittarius, they'll start showing up. they'll start appearing. You'll run into them. It could even be people from the past that have undergone similar certain deepenings or the maturation process have matured in a most amazing way that is similar to you. And now you may be reopening the book on something that was previous to what you just left. And that's an interesting mix because it's got all kinds of cool karmic things attached to it. And I think that that's certainly a possibility for some of you now with the Ace of Pentacles reverse coming up here. You may find yourself, Sagittarius, this month picking up the phone or texting on social media to people that you haven't talked to in years, like literally in such a long time. And some of them, they might have been like old romantic connections, or they might just be people that they didn't necessarily come out of the woodwork. They've always been there on Facebook or Insta-Roni, but now you're involved, you're engaged, and you're chatting with them again because the new stand has caused you to look for something familiar. At the same time, as long as you're not stepping right back into where you just came from, you can allow yourself this freedom and this familiarity of the past, the long distant past, to resurface, to serve whatever purpose it serves, to remain grounded, to remain connected, and that sort of thing. And again, if old ideas haven't been working, if you've been finding that you've been having to be like absolutely too persistent, and the magic is gone out of any situation, you can't even like find the words to describe how stale it's become, or how rigid or firm that this thing that used to bring you enjoyment, what it once was. It may be time for you to turn the corner on that project. It may be time for you to really say, all right, it's a solid base, and what I thought maybe was the end goal, that it was going to be up there, maybe this is only just the springboard. It's just the catalyst. Maybe this was a building block and not the finished product altogether. Okay, so again, discussions with people from the past coming up this month. For some of you, it's a Capricorn. Okay, for some of you, it's a Gemini, but for some of you, it's a Capricorn. All right, this is coming up quick. The Dirty Devil, number 15, Major Arcana, up in the Vision Questing. So again, there is real risk, and I don't necessarily think of it as just temptation. I think about it more like being tested with the resolve, like the resolve of a champion, the person who gets knocked down and gets back up again and keeps fighting and is looking to stave it off. You're looking to see through the madness as well this month, Sagittarius, because it has been a little bit crazy. It has been a lot of madness, but it's going to come back down to the individual level here. And I think to see this, you're looking for a person that is free and liberated from a lot of the aspects of the way you used to be, whether or not that was, conditioned upon you by a lover or a family member or a friend, or whether you had a lot to do in complacency of conditioning yourself within comforts, within, just kind of binding yourself to that which, you could cling to, you could hold on to. And that's all well and good. We need these levels of security in our life, but what we don't need is for them to really define us and start to close doors of opportunity to other things, because for some of you, maybe you're just too closely connected to caring for another person right now, where you feel like you can't go out on a limb, you couldn't venture out, and you would have a tough time, initiating something new of spirit, any kind of new creation, because there's lots from the past holding our Sagittarius friends back, not necessarily down, but definitely back. And communications is going to be the key point, Sagittarius. If you're not feeling familiar, if it feels like this year has all moved too fast, maybe particular friends have come and gone really quickly, or there wasn't a chance for closure, if you left things being open-ended, just don't worry about these things for now. So you don't want to leave too many open ends or too many things left undone, but it's kind of nice when you're out there actively creating the life for yourself and you're leaving all these little sidebar clues for yourself to be like, well, I'll leave that there for now and I'm going to continue venturing on. And then soon enough, a notification goes off, ding, ding, ding. You hear back and there's a potential business client or there's a potential opportunity that comes in because you left that sidebar open. And that's okay. Don't view these as like, unanswered callings and things of that nature. The Eight of Wands coming in from Source, you're going to get direct messages about what you're supposed to do next as well. Because for some of you, this kind of left you into like a space of like a great wide open. You stepped out of a lot of familiarity and comfort in this year, in this last little while. And now it feels like also fresh, and it can be frightening at times. So in meditations and in prayer, you're going to soon receive some sign and some answer about what you're actually supposed to be doing next, where the road actually leads, or if you were not to change the energies today, where this particular river of your timeline would eventually lead you to. And it's a lot of excitement, and it is opportunity, as long as you're able to recognize it, Sagittarius. Okay, so for this month, don't take too many steps backwards. Don't get tempted to jump back into a past because you had a moment of weakness or you freaked out and then all of a sudden, no, stay strong. Keep going forward, even if the way seems a little bit dark or foggy or cloudy right now. And again, if there's some people or keys from long since past that might be resurfacing to help some of you with all of this. Okay? Sagittarius, it's a pleasure to read your cards. If I called you a Gemini throughout the reading, I entirely apologize. The energy's there. And you know, when a Gemini's involved, it can all get kind of silly. It could be a hot one too. All right. Lots of love, Sagittarius. We'll see you soon.